What if I told you about a guy who was drafted straight out of high school, became Rookie of the Year, made 6 All-Star appearances, and was regarded as one of the most dominant power forwards in the NBA, just disappeared one day? That's what happened to Amari Stoudemire. One day he was dominating the league with his freakish athleticism.
During that lead in the first half, everything. Oh, Stoudemire, excuse me, Mark. Oh, please. Wow. Those are the type of plays that will force you to forget what you was about to say.
And the next day, he was kind of gone. But how did this even happen? Where did he go? And where is he now? To understand the journey of Amari Stoudemire, we need to go back to the beginning, when a kid born with raw talent was set to change the game. Amari Stoudemire was born on November 16, 1982, in Lake Wales, Florida, a small town about an hour and a half away from Orlando. Growing up, Amari faced a tough childhood that shaped his resilience and work ethic. His parents, Hazel and Carrie, divorced when he was young, and this led to a series of challenges that would mark his early years. His father tragically passed away when Amari was just 12 years old, and this left a significant gap in his life. As if losing his father wasn't difficult enough, his mother also faced her own struggles, getting in trouble with the law, including time spent in prison for petty theft and forgery. And despite these challenges, Amari found ways to stay strong. His upbringing wasn't easy, and he had to move frequently from city to city, living with various family members and even outside influences. He spent some time in Newburgh, New York, before relocating to Port Jervis, where he lived until 1998. While his parents weren't around, there were other figures in his life who helped guide him. A local police officer, Bernie Hayes, took him in for a while and provided a stable presence. Additionally, his AAU coach, Travis King, and a minister named Reverend Bill Williams also played important roles in helping him navigate through these tough times. Despite the chaos in his home life, these people gave him the support and guidance he needed to keep moving forward. Growing up, Amari didn't just face family challenges, he had to deal with the constant change. Moving between so many places made it hard for him to stay rooted, and this instability meant that he had to quickly adapt to new environments and people. His ability to keep pushing through these hardships helped him build the mental toughness that would later be a key part of his basketball career. Amari has mentioned that he credits God and his love for Tupac's music for helping him get through these tough periods. The music and his faith gave him comfort and helped him find a purpose, even when things seemed bleak. Amari's journey into basketball was a late one. He didn't start playing organized ball until he was 14 years old. Before that, his attention was divided between other sports, particularly football, where he dreamed of playing as a star wide receiver at major universities like the University of Miami, Florida, and Florida State. But despite the initial focus on football, it didn't take long for Amari to realize that basketball is probably where he needed to be. He played for several high schools as his life continued to be marked by transitions. He started at Lake Wales High School in Florida, but his freshman year was cut short because of academic ineligibility, and after that, he transferred to Mount Zion Christian Academy in Durham, North Carolina, where he started to get serious about basketball. But soon, things changed again. His coach at Mount Zion, Joel Hopkins, founded a new school called Emmanuel Christian Academy, and Amari followed him. Unfortunately, the new school shut down before they can even play a game. This led Amari back to Florida, where he spent some time at Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando before returning to Mount Zion Academy. However, due to some academic issues, he ended up sitting out his junior year of basketball. But finally, Amari settled at Cypress Creek High School in Orlando, where he completed his senior year and graduated in 2002.
It was kind of a road, a bumpy road, right? To say, because when I transferred from Lake Wales to Mount Zion, and then my sophomore year, the school was kind of, wasn't panning out how it should have. So then I wanted to transfer back home, but then it was a whole thing with that, and I had to make decisions based upon what I thought would be best for my 4-year plan, right, to get to the league. And so being 15, 16 years old, trying to make plans, and then you got prep schools, and now I'm the top player in the country, and you got everyone's trying to pull from different directions, and you're trying to make your own decisions. So because of that, I went to 5 different high schools.
Despite the chaos with transferring schools, Amari managed to make the most of his basketball career. In his senior year, he had a standout season, averaging 29 points, 15 rebounds, 6 blocks, and 2 steals per game. His ability to dominate on both ends of the court made him a standout player, and it was no surprise when he was selected to play in the prestigious 2002 McDonald's All-American game, where he played alongside future NBA stars like Carmelo Anthony and Raymond Felton. And his high school success didn't stop there either. He was named Florida's Mr. Basketball, which is awarded to the state's top high school player. And he was also recognized as the Orlando Sentinels Player of the Year. Additionally, Amari was named to the USA Today All-USA First Team, a recognition that pretty much solidified his place as one of the top high school players in the country. These honors helped set him apart from his peers and made him one of the most highly recruited players in his class. Although Amari had committed to playing for the University of Memphis, he couldn't resist going straight to the NBA, and after completing his high school career, he declared for the 2002 NBA Draft, a bold move that saw him become one of the few players to go from high school straight to the pros.
With the 9th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Amari Stoudemire from Cypress Creek High School in Orlando, Florida.
Amari Stoudemire's NBA journey began in 2002 when he was drafted 9th overall by the Phoenix Suns. This was a huge moment, not only for Amari, but also for the league, as he was one of the rare players to transition straight from high school to the pros. And right from the start, he made an immediate impact on the court, showing that the decision to bypass college was the right one. His rookie season was impressive. He averaged 13 points, 8 rebounds, and also made history by scoring 38 points in a game during his rookie year. A record that stood until, well, LeBron did it the very next season. But still, the record was symbolic of his natural talent and ability to perform at a high level. And as a result of these strong performances, Amari Stoudemire was named the NBA's Rookie of the Year in 2003. Becoming the first player drafted out of high school to win the award. Additionally, he earned a spot on the All-Rookie First Team, further cementing his place as one of the brightest young talents in the NBA. The 2003 to 2005 period marked a significant rise in Amari's career. The Suns brought in Steve Nash, who would later become one of the best point guards in NBA history, and the partnership proved to be a game changer for both players.
Yeah, you know, on the court, man, it was easy, bro. I mean, it was an easy deal for us because Nash and I, it happened organically. You know what I'm saying? Nash was the pass first point guard, and I was a player who wanted to set the tone and try to dominate every chance I got. And so every time Nash dropped him off, it's like an easy combination between him and I. And so when you got that type of combination going, and then teams got to respect that, and you surround that with some shooters and a few playmakers, you got a great formula. And off the court, Steve was one of the homies, man. Steve going to the clubs with us. We've been to clubs, we go to the, to the vibe clubs. You feel what I'm saying? We're like, hold on. Man, Steve, what you doing in here, man?
Steve is comfortable in there.
Nash's incredible passing ability and basketball IQ meshed perfectly with Amari Stoudemire's athleticism and skill in the paint. Their pick-and-roll combination quickly became one of the deadliest in the league. In the 2004-2005 season, Amari Stoudemire was playing at an elite level, averaging 26 points per game and becoming a legitimate star in the NBA. His performances during the season was capped off by a career-high 50-point game against the Portland Trail Blazers in January of 2005, showcasing his ability and his potential to be one of the best in the league.
The game was just happening. I was just, again, just trying to win the game, just trying to win and apply pressure on the opposing team. And the night was going on, I was racking up points like crazy. And I was playing against a friend of mine, but also a competitor with Zach Randolph. And Zebo's never an easy guy. You gotta really bring it with him. And so that competitive spirit took over. And then once I got to 40, I'm like, okay, there's a chance for 50. And then the 45 came, and then the 48 came. And then I got the ball down the stretch, the last, few seconds of that possession. I went to the fadeaway jumper, which they wasn't expecting.
Stoudemire backs down, his fadeaway. He got him, he's got 50. He's got 50. The fans know it, and they roar their approval here at America West Arena.
And I made the 50 points, and the crowd went crazy, and I felt like I was floating. It was great.
That season, he was selected to his first NBA All-Star game, a recognition that had been a long time coming for the young big man. The Suns had an extraordinary season that year, finishing with a 62-20 record, one of the best in franchise history. Stoudemire's performances played a huge part in their success. However, despite their regular season success, the Suns fell short in the playoffs. They reached the Western Conference Finals but were eliminated by the San Antonio Spurs, who would eventually go on to win the NBA championship. Kinda makes you think that this could have easily been the Suns instead of the Spurs. However, it was a hard-fought series, and Stoudemire's 37 points per game in the series showed that he could perform at the highest of levels. Still, the Suns' playoff shortcomings were something that would haunt them for years to come, as they were unable to get past the Spurs, their biggest postseason rival during Stoudemire's time with the team. The 2005-2006 season, unfortunately, marked a significant setback for Stoudemire. During the offseason, it was discovered that he had severe knee problems, including cartilage damage. Stoudemire underwent microfracture surgery in October 2005, which was a procedure to help regenerate damaged cartilage in his knees. The recovery process was notoriously difficult and took a long time. It kept him out for much of the season. Though he made a return later in the season, Stoudemire struggled to get back to his all-star form. He showed glimpses of his old self, but was far from the player he had been before the injury. His return was met with some excitement, but it was clear he would need more time to fully recover. In fact, in his third game back after surgery, he had a very tough performance, going scoreless against the New Jersey Nets, and it was frustrating for Stoudemire, but he remained committed to his recovery. Despite these setbacks, Stoudemire's drive never wavered. His rehabilitation continued, and he worked hard to regain the explosiveness that made him one of the league's top players to begin with. His efforts paid off, and by the following season, he was well on his way to returning to previous form. By the time the 07-08 season had came around, Stoudemire had returned to form and even improved in some of the areas. He was back in the All-Star game, averaging 25 points and 9 boards per game. That season, he was named to the All-NBA first team, which was a testament to his skill and talent. However, despite his individual success, the Suns' playoff run continued to be cut short, especially by the San Antonio Spurs. The rivalry between the Suns and the Spurs had become one of the most intense in the NBA, something that's missing in today's league, by the way. And Stoudemire's teams were often on the losing side. In 2009, Stoudemire suffered another injury scare, this time to his eye. He had a detached retina during the 2009-2010 season, which required surgery. This injury, though, was particularly concerning because it forced Stoudemire to wear the protective goggles for the rest of his career. And although the goggles would eventually become a trademark part of his look, it was an unfortunate setback that reminded him and his fans of how fragile a player's health can really be. The Suns once again made it to the playoffs, but it was cut short in the Western Conference Finals once again, this time by the Los Angeles Lakers. Stoudemire, while continuing to play at a high level, could not push his team past the defending champions. Despite this, he finished the season strong, averaging 23 points and 9 boards per game. In 2010, after a series of disappointing seasons in Phoenix, Stoudemire made a bold move, signing with the New York Knicks. He joined them on a 5-year, $99 million contract, a deal that made him one of the highest paid players in the league, and rightfully so. His arrival in New York was met with much anticipation, and Stoudemire immediately became the focal point in the Knicks offense. He formed a partnership with his Phoenix Suns head coach Mike D'Antoni, who had led Stoudemire to some of his best seasons in Phoenix. Stoudemire's first season with the Knicks in 2010 and 2011 was a memorable one. He had another standout year, averaging 25 points, 9 rebounds, and almost 3 assists per game, earning him his 6th and final All-Star selection. His performance helped lead the Knicks back to the playoffs for the first time in 7 years, marking a major step forward for the struggling franchise. However, the Knicks' postseason hopes were dashed in the first round as they were swept by the Boston Celtics. Despite Amar'e Stoudemire's strong play, it just wasn't enough. The following season saw Stoudemire struggle with injuries and personal tragedy. He missed time due to a back injury and tragically lost his older brother in a car accident. These challenges took a toll on Stoudemire, and he was not selected for the All-Star game for the first time since 2006. His struggles continued when he punched a fire extinguisher in frustration, injuring his hand and requiring stitches. His injuries, combined with inconsistent play, led to a reduced role, and he transitioned into a 6-man position for the remainder of his time with the Knicks. After several injury-plagued years with the Knicks, Stoudemire was traded to the Dallas Mavericks in 2015. He played a limited role with the Mavericks, appearing in just 23 games during the season, and despite the reduced minutes, Stoudemire still made contributions, averaging almost 11 points and 3 rebounds per game. While he was no longer the dominant force he once was, Stoudemire's experience and leadership provided a valuable presence for the Mavericks during their playoff run. Stoudemire's final season in the NBA came with the Miami Heat. He signed with the team in July of 2015, but knee issues limited his playing time throughout the season. Still, he provided some key performances during the Heat's postseason run, including a season-high 13 points and 12 rebounds in the game against the Atlanta Hawks. Stoudemire's very last game in the NBA was during the 2016 playoffs in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Toronto Raptors. The Heat lost the game and Stoudemire only played 3 minutes, recording 1 rebound and 1 steal in his final NBA appearance. The Heat would eventually lose the series, marking the end of Stoudemire's 14-year career in the league. Stoudemire retired from the NBA in 2016 after a career filled with both tremendous highs and heartbreaking lows. He left a legacy as one of the most talented and exciting power forwards of his era, even if injuries prevented him from achieving all that he could have. Though he never won an NBA championship, his individual accolades, including 6 All-Star selections and 5 All-NBA team selections, solidified his place among the best players of his generation. Amar'e Stoudemire's NBA career was marked by incredible talent, determination, and resilience. Despite the injuries and setbacks he faced, he remained a force on the court and played an integral role on every team he was a part of. His time with the Phoenix Suns helped put them on the map in the mid-2000s, and his partnership with Steve Nash became one of the most feared duos in the NBA. Though he struggled in the playoffs at times, he earned the respect of his peers and fans for his ability to bounce back and remain competitive. His career with the Knicks was less successful, but his leadership and individual performances were key in reviving the team's fortunes. By the time Stoudemire retired, his place in NBA history was secure, and his legacy as one of the most dominant big men of the 2000s remained intact. His story serves as a reminder of the challenges many athletes face and the strength required to overcome adversity to achieve greatness. After retiring from the NBA in 2016, Amar'e wasn't ready to completely walk away from the game of basketball. His love for the sport and his competitive nature kept him involved in professional basketball. But he took a different route, signing with a team in Israel's Basketball Premier League. This was a significant move because along with playing, Stoudemire co-owned the team, something that could never happen in the NBA. And this was a new chapter for him, as he began to transition into the world of international basketball in both a player and ownership role. Stoudemire's impact on the court was immediate, and despite being in the later stages of his career, he still showcased the skills that made him a dominant force in the NBA. He averaged 9 points and 5 rebounds during his time in Israel. More importantly, Stoudemire helped lead his team to the 2017 Israeli Basketball Super League Championship, further solidifying his place as a key player in the international basketball community. The championship was a major achievement for the team, and it was a proud moment for Stoudemire, who was now an important figure in Israeli basketball, both on and off the court. Though his numbers in Israel weren't as explosive as they were during his peak NBA years, Stoudemire's leadership and experience were invaluable. He had already been through the highest levels of competition in the NBA and used his knowledge to guide his teammates and mentor young players. Stoudemire's ability to adapt to a different style of basketball while still contributing effectively on the court proved that he still had a lot to offer. After his time in Israel, Stoudemire briefly played in China in 2019, where he found a new lease on his playing career. Even though his stint in China was short, Stoudemire's performances was impressive. He averaged 19 points and 8 rebounds per game, showing that he still had the skill and power that made him one of the top players in the NBA all those years before. His time in China was a reminder that even as he aged and dealt with injuries, his talent had not diminished. However, after a brief period in China, he left the team and returned to the United States. In 2020, Stoudemire made another return to Israel, this time joining the Maccabi Tel Aviv. This move proved to be highly successful for both Stoudemire and the team. Maccabi Tel Aviv, one of Israel's top basketball clubs, was looking to add veteran leadership and a proven winner to the roster. Stoudemire's arrival helped push the team toward their ultimate goal. He played an instrumental role in the team's success, helping lead the team to the 2020 Israeli Basketball Premier League Championship. His experience, leadership, and basketball IQ made a huge difference during the finals, and for his efforts, he was named the Finals MVP. It was a fitting way for Stoudemire to end his playing career internationally, and it highlighted just how much he still had to offer the game. After achieving his final championship in Israel, Stoudemire decided to shift his focus toward the next phase of his career, and that was coaching. In 2020, Stoudemire took on a new challenge in the basketball journey by joining the Brooklyn Nets as a player development assistant. As a player development assistant, he worked closely with the team's players, especially the young guys, helping them refine their skills and improve their game. His wealth of knowledge and experience from years of playing in the NBA was a huge asset to the Nets coaching staff, and he quickly became a respected figure in their development program. Stoudemire was able to offer insight from both his time in the NBA and his international playing experience. His guidance helped the younger players, but it also gave him an opportunity to pass down some of the lessons both on the court and in life. His background as a former superstar, as well as his time in different leagues playing different roles, provided him with a unique perspective that proved valuable in the coaching world. However, after just 2 seasons with the Nets, Stoudemire announced that he would not be returning for the 2022-2023 season. The reasons behind his departure were not fully disclosed, but his brief stint as an assistant coach still marked an important moment in his career. Even though his time as coaching was short, it showcased his continued commitment to the game and his desire to help the next generation of players. Amar'e Stoudemire's life off the court has been just as eventful and impactful as his career on the court. He's a loving father, businessman, philanthropist, and someone deeply connected to his faith. Stoudemire's personal journey has shaped him into a multifaceted individual who continues to influence people in different ways. And much of his focus in his post-NBA career has been on providing for and spending time with his children. However, his personal life wasn't without its hardships. In 2012, Stoudemire tragically lost his older brother in a car accident, and the loss of a family member is always painful, and this tragedy affected Stoudemire deeply. It was a tough time for him, but he used the grief as a source of strength, continuing to push forward in his career and in life. Over the years, Stoudemire's connection to religion has played a significant role in his life. He was raised in a Baptist family, and religion was something that grounded him during his childhood. However, his spiritual journey didn't stop there. Through his mother's influence, He later became involved with the Black Hebrew Israelites. This connection to his heritage was something that grew stronger as he got older. In 2020, Stoudemire took a significant step in his religious journey by formally converting to Judaism. He adopted the name Yehoshaphat ben Abraham, marking a new chapter in his life. His connection to Judaism was not only a personal decision, but also a way to embrace a deeper connection to his faith and heritage. His spiritual transformation was a meaningful part of his life. He spoke about how it gave him a sense of peace and purpose. In addition to his religious and family life, Stoudemire also made real estate a significant part of his personal lifestyle. In 2014, he purchased a 185-acre farm in Hyde Park, New York, as a retreat for his family. This beautiful property serves as a getaway where he can escape from the demands of his professional life and spend quality time with his loved ones. The farm offers a peaceful environment to unwind and reflect, and it has become a symbol of his desire for balance and tranquility in his personal life. Stoudemire has never been one to rest on his laurels. He's always seemed to be involved in various ventures that reflect his interests and passion, showing his drive and desire to contribute to society in meaningful ways. One of the most significant ventures has been his philanthropic work. In 2003, Stoudemire provided the Each One Teach One Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing education and resources to underserved communities. Through his foundation, Stoudemire has focused on helping young people reach their potential, offering mentorship and support. One of the foundation's key initiatives was working to provide clean drinking water in Sierra Leone, a country where access to clean water has been a major issue. Stoudemire's efforts to build water wells in impoverished villages help improve the living conditions of many people. This commitment to giving back also led to him hosting basketball academies in Africa, where he shared his knowledge of the game and connected with young athletes across the continent. Stoudemire's philanthropic efforts demonstrated his deep commitment to helping others, and his work continues to have a lasting impact. Stoudemire has also ventured into the film and television industry, taking on roles that allowed him to explore his interests beyond basketball. He appeared on popular TV shows like Law & Order SVU, Entourage, and The Mindy Project, bringing his larger-than-life personality to the big screen.
You think cats grow trees?
Your trees, maybe.
I gotta think if I want to put the original 250 in with you, Turtle.
I'm telling you, Amari, you don't want to miss out on this. I got everybody. I got Mello, I got Eli, I got Strahan.
Oh, you got Strahan, huh?
Who got me for what?
I spoke to him today.
Hey, Turtle's on this Don Cappy thing.
Oh, yeah.
You call you for more money?
Oh, yeah.
What you tell me?
Tell him to go himself.
Yeah.
Amari, listen.
Hey, go yourself, Turtle.
In addition to his television roles, Stoudemire also appeared in films like Trainwreck, where he played himself. His acting roles may have been brief, but they allowed him to expand his reach beyond the basketball court and try his hand at different forms of entertainment. In the business world, Stoudemire has made a name for himself as an entrepreneur. He launched his own clothing line, which was designed with women in mind. He collaborated with fashion designer Rachel Roy to create a stylish line of clothes that reflected his vision of fashionable, court-inspired clothing. The venture into fashion was just the beginning of his business career. Stoudemire also founded the Hypocalypto record label, where he signed several artists from Phoenix to Atlanta. His love for music and entertainment led him to create a space where talented artists could be discovered and nurtured. Stoudemire's entrepreneurial spirit didn't stop there. In 2018, he launched Stoudemire Cellars, a kosher Israeli wine label. His connection to Israel and his Jewish heritage played a role in the business venture, and Stoudemire was passionate about offering high-quality wines that reflected his values. The wine label was another way for him to connect with his faith, while also contributing to the growing kosher wine market. Through his businesses and creative ventures, Stoudemire has shown that he is more than just a basketball player. He is someone who is always looking to diversify his interests and make a positive impact in the world. In addition to his various business ventures, Stoudemire has remained connected to basketball through his involvement as a major shareholder in Jerusalem. His time playing there and his involvement with the club has allowed him to remain a key figure in the basketball world. In 2013, he also took on a role as an assistant coach for the Canadian national basketball team, further expanding his influence in the basketball community. Amar'e Stoudemire's off-court ventures demonstrate a man who is committed to growth, giving back, and trying new things. Whether it's in philanthropy, business, or entertainment, he has proven that his talents and passion extend far beyond basketball. His efforts to help others, his entrepreneurial spirit, and his involvement in various industries shows that he is dedicated to making a difference in the world and continuing to challenge himself in new and exciting ways. But what if I told you about a guy who has over 14,000 career points, almost 7,000 career assists, was a 5-time All-Star, and was one of the NBA's elite point guards? Just disappeared one day. If you want to know what happened to John Wall, just click right here.